Ladies and gentlemen, this is White Lightning 777, and I'm here to do another lecture today on threats to our civilization, the death of us all, and the sheer and the often unrecognized menace we face, not just from sociopaths, which I'll talk about later, but social contagions. We have to understand. First of all, we have to be able to identify what a social contagion is and who spreads it. A social contagion is any idea that, if believed by a large enough percentage of the population, will interfere with the continued development and progress and lifestyle and standard of living of the body politic. Okay? And we have to ask how to spot one. You have to ask yourself, when you encounter some new idea or new fad on the internet or on TikTok, a simple question. The first question is, what happens if 100% of the people believe the idea? What happens, for example, if 100% of the population, believes that the earth is flat? Well, you're not going to have any interest in space, in flight. You're not going to have any interest in aviation. The Air Force will go unmanned. Our space program will not continue. Other countries will get ahead. China, Russia will continue to progress. And eventually, with no aviation, foreign bombers and foreign fighter planes will begin dropping leaflets and possibly bombs and chemical and biological weapons on your house and your neighborhood. Again, that's what's going to happen because, again, you're not going to have that air power. Flat Earthism is a social contagion designed to undermine the American aerospace industry. Okay? Now, again, and this is another problem. When you look at a social contagion, ask, first of all, what are the effects if 100% of the population believes it? Then you have to ask another question. Who benefits if in the power vacuum that this contagion creates, who benefits? In the case of flat earthism, eliminating the American aerospace industry, obviously Russia, China, the BRICS countries, or any military power, or any other country that has aviation and space program that would like to replace the United States. Therefore, once you know who benefits from it, you automatically know who is funding it, and you automatically know what their sources are. And I've done this myself. I've gone on them. I've argued with flat earthers. I've said, since China benefits, who's your Chinese handler? And they start, oh my God, you hacked my computer. You're a government agent. How did you get into mine? I'm going to file a restraining order. Da 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 da. The fact is, I don't need to hack you. I know who's funding you. That's one example. Let's take some of the anti-vax stuff about, now Big Pharma lies, but so do quacks. Quacks and Big Pharma both lie. Let's face it. So who's going after, let's say, the mRNA shots? Now, sure, there are other drug companies, J&J and Novavax, that have vaccines that aren't mRNA. And, maybe they could pay a fake expert or two to exaggerate the benefits of it. But they can't really replace them in the market. The people who go against, and notice it's always American products that are being targeted. It's always American planes, American vaccines, are obviously foreign vaccines. Now, is the VAERS system perfect? No. But when you compare it to Russian and Chinese vaccines, where there is zero liability, even in our case, in the American vaccines, liability is limited, but there is still liability. And the VAERS is reporting it, maybe not as well as it should work, but there is still some reporting. With the Russian Sputnik vaccine and the Chinese Sinovac, there's zero. In fact, reactions to those are considered a state secret. If I were to tell you how many people got myocarditis from Sinovac or Sputnik, odds are foreign agents and assassins would show up to my place. That's a state secret. But they would much rather you buy their product than the American product. They would much rather create dependency. That's what social contagions do. If you look at the global warming hoax, again, this is an attack on ground-based transportation, cars, trains, tractor trailers. Obviously, again, if you don't have cars and trains and tractor trailers, you no longer have a 21st century economy. And other countries that practice robber baron capitalism, even though they're communists, like for example China, would stand to benefit. They just would. So, I mean, obviously the global warming hoax is being perpetrated by the CCP and rivals to American industry. In many cases, the perpetrators of these social contagions are the BRICS countries. I mean, they're the main ones who stand to benefit. The hoax, the arm-flapping hysteria over American vaccines. Well, other countries, who benefits? India also produces non-mRNA shots as well. India has a pretty good industrial capacity. I mean, if India and China put Moderna and Pfizer out of business, they could, after paying a tariff, they could plausibly sell their product to Americans. Therefore, they benefit. Therefore, they are funding a lot of the anti-vax stuff. Now, are the mRNA products completely safe? No. Are there reactions to them? Yes. Do these countries, they may even feel that they have a genuinely better product, but they're not selling the product on their merits. They're not simply saying ours doesn't produce the side effects that this one does, therefore buy ours. What they're doing is just launching an attack on our products while not discussing theirs. If China and India and Russia had a better shot than Pfizer and Moderna did, they would produce the safety records and the science to back it up. They haven't, because they don't. And whatever problems there are with our products, theirs are, no doubt, much, much worse. But probably somewhat cheaper. But you get what you pay for. Still, it's probably better to go, in terms of vaccines, it's probably best not to use mRNA for now. It's probably better just to use antigen-based ones like the Novavax or adenovirus vector-based ones like J&J. A little bit safer, a little bit better technology that we understand more. But all of these social contagions, flatterism, chemtrail hoaxes, some of the anti-vax nonsense. The other one, of course, is, the crypto Reich, that America is the Fourth Reich, that all whites are Nazis. Well, who stands to benefit? Well, black power movements, Negro Nazis, Asians, anyone else, third worlders who want to come in, who want to, pillage the wealth of the West. It's pretty obvious, who the perpetrators are. Anybody. That's not necessarily Israel. You have to understand that Israel's a Potemkin village. It's a country only on paper. If America goes down, so does their budget. Because at some point, if the American economy falls, when empires deteriorate economically, they start cutting off they start strangling their provinces. First they bleed them dry, then they cut them loose and throw them to the wolves. And the Israelis aren't stupid. They have historians. They know this. They've already been under the Roman Empire, fell apart, and then fell into conquest by the Muslims. They already know that. No, they're not the main perpetrators. The main perpetrators are China, Russia, India, BRICS countries. Taken as a whole, When you look at all of these social contagions, flat earthism, chemtrail, global warming hoaxes, even the virus denial. Take that one. That's another popular social contagion. Somehow viruses don't exist. Well, I don't know who benefits. Well, anybody who creates a bioweapon benefits. Any country with bioweapon stockpiles. Russia and China are the main ones here that have huge bioweapons labs. China does. If I were, say, the bat lady from the Wuhan lab, I might be a little nervous about being on a list. I might think, you know what, the CIA might have a target on me. I might want to leave China sometime. I might it might behoove me to redirect a couple of $1 million worth of money from my weird science lab to some American to spread virus denial, so maybe the CIA will take me off a hit list and I won't be as likely to be assassinated. And if I want to create another bioweapon and launch it against the American population, a population that doesn't believe germs exist is far more likely to succumb to a bioweapon attack than one that does believe that germs exist. Again, virus denial is obviously a social contagion spread by foreign countries with bioweapons labs that have targeted Americans. And yes, China does have race and ethnic specific bioweapons programs. There are even internal communications that Dr. Li Yingyan has intercepted and published, proving this beyond any doubt whatsoever. It's obvious where the virus denial social contagion comes from. Those who are participating in that are simply participating in a bioweapons attack against their fellow Americans. That's just the way it is. Treason must be dealt with. We have to understand that those who spread social contagions are just like any other criminal. If I spread a social contagion about chemtrails and cause an aircraft company to put catalytic converters on a plane and it crashes and kills 500 people, I've killed 500 people. If I spread rumors about chemtrails and somebody shoots down an airplane, there's no difference between me doing that and me taking an anti-aircraft missile and shooting it down myself. I've still caused the plane to crash. The people who spread social contagions should be treated the same way as criminals that use cruder and more direct methods of attacks against society, our country, and its people. There is no difference between starting a rumor that crashes a plane and shooting the plane down yourself. There is no difference between, say, getting people to deny viruses exist and spreading a bioweapon yourself out of a spray bottle and, spraying it on people's doors and cars, killing them yourself. There is no difference. They are one and the same. And those who spread these social contagions and those who commit sedition belong in jail, or they should be hauled up before military tribunals, lined up, and shot. All of them are traitors, and none of them deserves to live in America, the richest, freest, most advanced civilization in all human history. These social contagions will be the death of us all. And those who spread them want nothing less than the destruction and burning of the United States of America. They want to burn it down. And the way they're going to do that is to make you burn it down on their behalf. That's what makes it so dangerous. Those sedition laws must be enforced. Social contagions must be wiped out and destroyed. They are not scientifically accurate. They're anti-American propaganda, and they are a threat to the Republic and its people. This is White Lightning 777, signing out.